Imagine it's the 1940s and you're a bar owner in New Orleans. You find yourself overstocked with rum. You're having a hard time selling it. You can't send it back to the distributor. So what do? You come up with a way to get rid of the rum fast, and that turns into a classic tiki cocktail called the Hurricane. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Florida Rum Explorer. I'm Brian, and today we're going to take another look at the Hurricane. Now, I did this drink about a year ago. I thought it would be fun to do it actually in a hurricane. And it turned out to be one of the least viewed episodes I've ever made, and probably the worst episode I've ever made. Anything that could go wrong went wrong. I thought it'd be cool. It was windy. My audio kept dropping off. It was wet. It was rainy. It was just not a good episode. And to make matters worse, I messed up the recipe. I did not actually use the proper syrup. So we're going to redo it. So I'm calling this my Hurricane episode, the Redemption episode. Also, you probably might have noticed that we were away for a couple of months. We took a bit of a hiatus. There was a lot of stuff going on in my life personally that, just kind of took precedence. But here we are, we're back, and let's jump right into it. So what's the deal with the Hurricane? Well, back in the 1940s, in New Orleans, at a bar called Pat O'Brien's, they had a problem where the distributor they were using had a requirement that they had to buy a certain amount of rum before they could get whiskey. Now, rum was not as popular as whiskey back then, so they had a hard time selling it. And so they needed to come up with a cheap way to get rid of this rum fast, because they didn't want it just sitting around. And people weren't just ordering, I'll take a shot of rum. They weren't ordering that. So they came up with the Hurricane. Again, intended entirely just to get rid of the rum. Not intended to be any great cultural achievement, but it turned out to become very popular. It's probably one of the more famous later 20th century tiki kind of drinks. It wasn't invented as a tiki drink, but it fits that genre. So what they did was, it is a strong drink, okay? Again, trying to get rid of the rum fast, so they made a strong drink. So what they do is you take your shaker and you take 4 ounces of rum. So 4 ounces, that's a lot. So that's 2 of these jiggers right here. Each one of these side is 2 ounces. So that's 2. And that's 4. And that fills that up quite a bit. Then you're going to take 2 ounces of passion fruit syrup. So the funny thing about this is, 2 ounces of passion fruit syrup. So 1 jigger. So the thing is, if you order a Hurricane today, you're going to get something that is just unrecognizable from the original recipe. The original recipe was 3 ingredients only: rum, passion fruit syrup, and lemon juice. Today, of course, if you're making it from scratch, you see recipes they call for orange juice, pineapple juice, grenadine, you name it. They got a whole other list of ingredients in there. And also, you can even buy mixes, which really just kind of tastes like Kool-Aid with rum in it, if you ask me. It's not worth it, in my opinion. 2 ounces of lemon juice. And that shaker is almost all the way full. Cap it off, give it a shake. And now, I don't own a Hurricane glass. You should serve it in a Hurricane glass. I don't have one, so I'm using my Collins glass. And then you're going to pour in. All right, so what do you notice? If you were to order a Hurricane today, from most places, it would be bright red. This is not bright red. This is kind of golden color. It's got that gold from the lemon juice in there and the passion fruit syrup. Slightly sweet, definitely strong, but it's very good. Again, it's not what most people think of as a Hurricane today, but this is the original recipe. It is just, like I said, 4 ounces of rum, 2 ounces of passion fruit syrup, 2 ounces of lemon juice, shaken and served over ice, preferably in a hurricane glass. Again, it's not going to be overly sweet. This has a bit of sweetness from the syrup. If you do want a little bit sweeter and you really want that red color, you can add a little bit of grenadine to it. I'm going to go ahead and add, say, maybe a quarter to a half an ounce of grenadine. Put that in there. Give it a stir. That looks more like what everybody is familiar with when they think of a hurricane. And while we're at it, hey, let's put a little umbrella on it. So, of course, I gotta take it out, drink it. And I'll tell you what, if I'm being completely honest with you, I do think I prefer with a little bit of grenadine in there. It adds an extra little bit of sweetness, makes it more what you're thinking about when you think of a hurricane. But that's it. It's an easy one to make. It is very refreshing, and like I said, it's a strong one. If you drink the whole thing, if you think about it, most cocktails, most tiki drinks, I have about 2 ounces of rum. This has 4. So you're really drinking 2 for 1 here. So you got to keep that in mind when you're having it. But if you're riding out a hurricane and you want to have a party, go ahead and make up some hurricanes. Do it the traditional way. Go ahead and add a little bit of grenadine to it if you like, to make it a little more like what you're going to get in the bar today. But it's an easy one to make. You can find, I thought passion fruit juice or syrup would be hard to find. Not a problem. I found it in my local grocery store. Yeah, so that's an easy one. So until next time, everyone, take care.